The situation between MXR Plays and Jukin Media perfectly illustrates how in law you have three sides to every story. You have the plaintiff's side, you have the defendant's side, and usually the truth is found somewhere in the middle. Viva Frei, Montreal litigator turned YouTuber, and this is Barney the Vlog Dog. Say hi, Barney. Hello, Down you go. And for those of you who don't know what's going on in this saga between MXR Plays and Jukin Media, let me summarize it as follows. I'm not going to do the Ace Ventura one breath thing. There are too many details to possibly do this in one breath. MXR Plays is a YouTube channel with over 800,000 subscribers, and they do, among other things, reaction videos. Reddit review, meme review, reaction type videos, sort of like PewDiePie. Incidentally, before this whole oh gosh, you know what? Now someone told me that I look to the left like every 10 seconds, and now that is going to be in my mind every video that I make. I do look to the left. Now, I never heard of MXR Plays until this whole saga broke, and I started watching a bunch of their videos, and you know what? If you close your eyes, they actually sound exactly like PewDiePie and Marzia.
About a couple months ago, they started striking our channel because of clips that they own.
Like, they don't even bother to claim anymore.
I'm not joking. I had the videos running in the back when I wasn't actually looking at the videos, and I thought I was listening to PewDiePie and Marzia. MXR Plays is a couple. At first, I think they were just friends, but apparently they just got engaged. Congratulations. And they just put out a video to the effect that they are being extorted by a company called Jukin Media.
I feel like they're just constantly gonna extort us.
Jukin Media is probably a name that rings a bell even if you don't know why it rings a bell. Among other things, they do viral video licensing, so sometimes you'll see a video going viral on YouTube, and in the description it will say, this video is being licensed by Jukin Media. For all licensing inquiries, please contact Jukin Media at whatever. There are dozens of video licensing agencies on YouTube right now. Back in the day, it used to be MCNs that were all the rage, multi-channel networks. And those are the agencies that sort of managed YouTubers' channels, took care of brand deals, went after copyright violations for a YouTuber's content. I did a couple of videos touching on the MCN issue when MatPat had his issue with Defy Media, where he purported to have lost millions of dollars with Defy. Defy being an MCN that was managing YouTubers' channels, collecting all their AdSense revenues for them. Defy Media went bankrupt and never actually remitted any of that AdSense revenue to the YouTubers' channels that they were managing. Those were actually very interesting videos, both from the perspective of learning about MCNs and bankruptcy law. I'll link one of the videos right here. Give it a watch. It's a good one. So MCNs have sort of fallen off the face of the market, and now we see video licensing agencies. Video licensing agencies basically do what MCNs did for an entire channel, except they do it on a per video basis. So a YouTuber doesn't have to commit their entire channel to one MCN. They can go video by video with different video licensing agencies. Jukin is one of many video licensing agencies that you will see on the market. You have Jukin, Viral Hog, Newsflare, Storyful. There are literally dozens of them, and I have had my experiences with video licensing agencies. I have actually used Viral Hog and Jukin, but I tend to use only two video licensing agencies for all of my licensed videos, that being Storyful and Newsflare. But whatever, this is not an ad for Newsflare or Storyful, and I've actually done a video explaining exactly how these video licensing agencies work, the advantages, the cons, etc., etc. I'll link that video right here if you want to give it a watch. But I'll do a brief summary of how video licensing agencies work for the purposes of this video. These video licensing agencies literally scour the internet, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, for videos that they think they could sell to third parties. Most people don't fully appreciate this, but whenever a news outlet runs a story and wants to use the video in the story, they have to acquire the rights to that video. And if you are paying attention, you might notice that oftentimes on social media, Twitter for example, when somebody posts an interesting video, a newsworthy video, oftentimes you're going to see a reporter post a comment in the comment thread saying, can we use this in tonight's broadcast? We'll give you credit. And usually people are just so happy to have a news agency take their video and give them credit that they say yes. Well, oftentimes, and it happens concurrently, these video licensing agencies are going to see the exact same video, and they're going to reach out to whoever appears to be the copyright holder of that video and ask them for permission to have exclusive or non-exclusive licensing rights to that video. And if you give that licensing agency either exclusive or non-exclusive licensing rights, they will then take that video, shop it around to third parties for licensing opportunities. If you grant to a video licensing agency like Jukin the rights to license the video, and say for example a reporter at Huffington Post reaches out to you and says, hey, we really like your video, can we use it in tonight's broadcast? Your response would be, sorry, Jukin is taking care of licensing of that video, contact them and organize whatever fee is appropriate to license that video. Video licensing agencies will take anywhere between 30 and 50% of the revenue they generate from licensing any video that they have under their management. And while some people tend to think they're getting ripped off because the video licensing agency is stealing 50% of their revenue from their video, oftentimes they are taking 50% of a much bigger pie than if you took 100% of it yourself. The reality of the situation is that if someone just shot a newsworthy video, they are not going to be able to shop it around to the BBC, Huffington Post, CNN, Fox News, whatever. They'll post it to Twitter, they'll post it to YouTube, people will approach them asking them for permission to use the video, and they'll probably say yes and get $0 for that use. Whereas if you grant the rights to a video licensing agency, they will literally take that video and shop it around to their network of clients and sell it to them. There are tons of benefits to using video licensing agencies to shop around your videos that might be sellable to third parties. Just by way of personal anecdote, I've posted tons of videos to YouTube that have gotten virtually no views, like less than 1,000 views. But at the same time, I've given licensing rights to these video licensing agencies and they've literally sold the same video that got no views on YouTube for hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars. Now again, this is not an ad for video licensing agencies, but there are definite advantages to using video licensing agencies, and one of which is going after copyright infringement. Come here, just one second, let me just tell everybody what's going on here. Oh! What's going on? You're watching Paranorman, and you find it too scary?
But there's one part scary.
Okay, you want me to go watch it with you?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll be back. Oi! Go! Anybody who has posted a viral video to YouTube knows that the problem is the second you post a viral video on YouTube and it starts to go viral, everybody starts ripping it off your channel and reposting it on theirs. That is copyright infringement, pure and simple. I have had dozens of viral videos on YouTube, and without exception, every time they start gaining traction, somebody rips it off and puts it on their channel. Somebody rips it off and puts it in a montage. And it is absolutely impossible for the content creator to track that copyright infringement on their own. So the main benefit to going with these video licensing agencies is that they will track copyright violation for you. They will literally scour the internet to see if anybody is making use of your video on their channel. If someone steals and reposts on their channel one of your videos that the video licensing agency is managing, the video licensing agency will go claim that video and collect the AdSense revenue from it. They will do that for all channels that have ripped and reposted your video. They will gather the AdSense revenue and they will take their 30, 40, or 50% and give you the other 50, 60, or 70%. So that's how video licensing works. Now, it may vary depending on the video licensing agency, but typically the content creator retains the intellectual property rights in the video. They have just granted to the video licensing agency the right to enforce their copyright. And typically with the good video licensing agencies, they have the resources to scour the internet for unauthorized reproduction of your copyrighted material. Bringing this all back to MXR Plays. Now, MXR Plays does, among other things, reaction videos. They pull interesting videos from the internet, they watch them react, give their commentary, and that is part of their content on their channel. And it's a whole genre on YouTube, the reaction videos. Now, PewDiePie himself had similar problems with his reaction meme review type videos. And I actually did a couple of videos way back when explaining how this does at times actually qualify as copyright infringement. People always throw around the term fair use and think that these reaction videos qualify as fair use by definition. But as a pure matter of fact and law, oftentimes these reaction videos do qualify as copyright infringement. Now, I have done a number of videos on copyright and fair use. I even have a playlist which I'll link right here. Give it a watch if you want to bone up on some copyright and fair use law. But I will go over it very quickly for the purposes of this vlog. Things I've said in previous vlogs, and I'll start with the most important. Nothing in this vlog constitutes legal advice. I am a Quebec attorney and I have actually done copyright litigation and I have enough experience in the subject. But the law is jurisdictional. Every case is determined on the facts and merits of that particular case. Nothing in this video qualifies as legal advice. It is for educational purposes only. If you have any questions, you need to consult an attorney in your proper jurisdiction who can assess the facts after having gathered all of the relevant information. With that said, copyright exists as a pure matter of fact. There are certain definitive benefits to registering copyright, most notably establishing the date of creation. But the moment you create an original work, it is protected by copyright. Copyright is literally what it sounds like, the right to copy. If someone copies your original work but they don't have the right to do so, that is called copyright infringement. And while copying means literally copying the work, it also includes unlawful reproduction of that work. Unlawful reproduction in any shape or form. So if you write a book, unlawful reproduction of that book is not only photocopying that book. If someone makes a video of them reading that book beginning to end and post it to YouTube, that is copyright infringement as well. And although everybody knows the words of the exception to copyright infringement, that being fair use, most people don't really fully understand the concept. Fair use is a defense to copyright infringement. It is an affirmative defense to copyright infringement. Fair use needs to be established and recognized by a judge. If someone sues you for copyright infringement, you have to prove that the use was in fact fair use. That being said, most copyright holders are not going to claim copyright infringement if in fact the use of the copyrighted work was clearly fair use. And so what is fair use. In order to establish fair use, generally speaking, there are 4 factors to consider: the purpose or character of the use, the nature of the copyrighted work, the amount and the substantiality of the portion used, and the effect of the use on the potential market. Now, incidentally, YouTube lawyer Leonard French just did a 1.5-hour live stream on this very subject, and it's an amazing live stream that everyone should watch. I'm going to condense the summary into this vlog because most people don't have 90 minutes to watch a YouTube video. The purpose of the use. Generally speaking, if the reproduction is done for educational or not-for-profit purposes, there will be greater latitude in determining that it was fair use. If the reproduction is done for commercial or for-profit reasons, then there will be less latitude in establishing fair use. You have the transformative factor of the reproduction. If the reproduction transforms the original work to the point where it actually qualifies as a new work, then it will be deemed to be fair use. The perfect example of this would be Shmo Yoho. For anybody who doesn't know them, check out their YouTube channel. They're awesome. They take portions of what might otherwise be copyright protected work, but they transform it to such a degree that they create an entirely new work. And the amount or substantiality of the portion used fits into the next criteria, which is the effect on the market for the original work. The general idea is that if, as a result of your reproduction, you are actually siphoning traffic away from as opposed to directing traffic to the original work, it will tend not to be regarded as fair use. If after having viewed your reproduction, people don't actually need to go and view the original, well then that's not going to be fair use because you're actually pulling traffic away from the original. The amount or substantiality of the portion taken. If you take more than what you need to make the point you want to make, then generally speaking, it will not be regarded as fair use. And then there is one last defense, which is almost an exception to fair use. It's known as the de minimis defense. And that defense is to the effect that I used so little of the original work that we don't even need to ask whether or not it was fair use. An example might be using Ace Ventura's "Alrighty then." And then if Miramax or whoever owns the rights to Ace Ventura comes after you for copyright infringement, you would say, I don't even need to establish whether or not it was fair use. De minimis defense. I used so little of the original work, it doesn't matter if it was fair use. Now, I said this before, but these reaction genre YouTube channels often cross the line between fair use and copyright infringement. They're doing it for profit. Oftentimes they're using a substantial portion of the original video, if not the video in its entirety. And more often than not, after having watched one of the reaction videos, you no longer need to go and watch the original. And more often than not, they're pulling videos from the internet without even thinking about copyright infringement. I've said this in previous videos, and it's not even a question of malice. Oftentimes people think if I find a video on YouTube, I can do whatever I want with it. And that's simply not true. So MXR Plays has done a bunch of reaction videos to videos that Jukin Media either owns the copyright to or manages the copyright of. And apparently Jukin Media has gone after MXR Plays and gone after them hard. Now, MXR Plays recently put out a video where they addressed the whole situation, and I'm going to address certain points that they discuss in that video.
Because of something called Jukin Media. If you don't know, they basically copyright all the clips you see on the internet.
Alright, first inaccuracy here. Jukin Media does not copyright all of the clips on the internet. They either acquire the copyright to certain videos or they manage the copyright of certain videos. And this is a contractual relationship that they have entered into with the copyright owner of any given video. Once they own or are assigned the copyrights to a certain video, they basically have the copyright to that video.
About a couple months ago, they started striking our channel because of clips that they own.
Like, they don't even bother to claim anymore.
It used to be that they would claim your videos and take the revenue from that video.
By what they're saying themselves, this is not a new problem with Jukin. Apparently on multiple occasions, Jukin has approached MXR and says you are using videos to which we own the copyright and you have not licensed them from us. And here they're saying that Jukin is no longer even claiming the videos. And this is something that I said in previous videos. The copyright owner has certain rights and recourses. The copyright owner can claim the video, but they can also just give you a strike for the unauthorized use. Now, generally speaking, they will claim the video and the AdSense revenue derived from that use because it makes sense, no pun intended. There's nothing to be gained from giving a channel a strike for unauthorized use, but there is money to be gained by claiming the AdSense revenue for that unauthorized use. But the copyright holder doesn't have to do one before the other. They can claim the video or they can give that channel a strike. And by what MXR Plays is admitting here, it sounds like they have a history of alleged copyright abuse of Jukin Media videos. So much so that in this history, Jukin Media used to claim the monetization, but now they've just gone to giving strikes. MXR Plays knew of the problem, they were aware that the videos were getting claimed and the reasons for which they were getting claimed, and they nonetheless continued to do it. And by the looks of it, Jukin Media has said we've had enough and now we're not claiming the videos anymore, we're just going to give your channel a strike.
Yeah, so basically they just strike our channel now whenever they see a clip. And so we started, removing their clips from our videos.
Of course, because we're like, okay, that's your clip, so we won't use it.
Alright, and let's understand what's going on here. Now, MXR Plays is recognizing that it's their clip, so they won't use it. But as a pure matter of fact, by the time Jukin Media has crawled the internet and found channels that are posting videos without authorization, days or weeks could have gone by, and that video, depending on the size of the channel, could have gotten hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of views. And so even if Jukin Jukin or whoever owns the copyright comes in at that point and says, now we are claiming the AdSense revenue, the views have already been had. And you can sort of understand why a copyright holder might at this point in time be a little bit frustrated with what seems to be repetitive behavior. After several months of them claiming the videos, after several months of them notifying you, and after several months of what appears to be repeated conduct. And so Jukin has said, instead of claiming the video, we are just going to give you a strike until you learn. And this is not to blame MXR Plays. A lot of people just don't appreciate that when you pull videos from the internet, there is nonetheless copyright that applies to those videos. When you do these reaction videos and you watch the entire video and react, there is nothing sufficiently transformative in that reproduction. By and large, you are reproducing the entire video, if not a substantial portion of that video, to the point where nobody needs to go and watch the original anymore. So you are not directing any traffic to the original source, you are siphoning all the traffic from it for commercial purposes. One cannot blame a copyright holder for being angry at this situation. But anger does not necessarily justify what comes next.
They email us with a bill and they charge us $1,500 per clip that was in our videos. And so today we got hit with a huge bill of $6,000 in total.
So Jukin has now just sent a $1,500 invoice to MXR Plays and says, pay up. You know what I do when I get random invoices on the internet for services that I never contracted? I don't do very much with them. But by the sounds of it, MXR Plays has paid in the past.
And I think it's because in the past we've paid them this amount of money. So they're like, hey, this guy's willing to pay this money. Let's keep, charging him for it. He'll just pay us.
And this is the point at which the victim becomes the victimizer. The reality is that MXR Plays, and I'll just chalk it up to not knowing the law and not knowing better, has in fact been reproducing copyrighted works that Jukin is managing the rights of. In my humble opinion, and having seen a lot of these reaction videos, generally speaking, there is nothing transformative in the reaction video. It reproduces the video in its entirety, or at the very least a substantial portion of the video, to such a point that nobody even needs to view the original anymore. I do not think that qualifies as fair use. If you want to react to a specific video, then just license the video like everybody else. And by the sounds of it, MXR Plays has been doing this for a while with Jukin Media. Okay, fine. Where it becomes problematic is in Jukin saying, we're not going to claim your video anymore, and we're not just going to go straight to giving you a strike. We're going to send you an arbitrary amount, and if you don't pay it, then we're going to give you a strike. And that is tantamount to saying, give us money or we're going to harm you. MXR is calling it extortion or very close to extortion, but as an attorney, I would highly recommend that people not use this type of terminology.
They don't try to extort money out of them.
I've said it time and time again in previous vlogs, making public accusations of criminal conduct can be defamatory. If you want to give a name to what Jukin is doing, call it unlawful conduct. And to me, it does in fact border on highly unlawful conduct. It's something I discussed in the Michael Avenatti extortion vlog. There is a difference between aggressive settlement discussions and extortion. You can threaten to sue somebody civilly if they don't pay you amount of money. That does not qualify as extortion. But if you threaten to file criminal charges in the absence of a civil settlement, that does qualify as extortion. If a lawyer threatens to file an ethical complaint against another lawyer in the absence of a settlement, that qualifies as extortion. So when Jukin Media threatens to file a DMCA takedown notice that it knows will result in a strike on the channel on YouTube, it's getting very close to unlawful conduct. Jukin Media is effectively saying, pay us a certain amount of money or we're going to file a statutory complaint. And these may be lofty words to describe it, but they're basically saying, pay us money or we're going to file a DMCA takedown notice. DMCA is the Digital Millennial Copyright Act, and if a copyright holder files a takedown notice under the DMCA, they'll notify the host where that copyrighted work is being reproduced, and the host will be forced to take down that copyrighted work lest they be held liable for the copyright infringement. Now, as a matter of the terms of use on YouTube, if they get a DMCA takedown notice, they will give that channel a strike. 3 strikes and they shut down your channel. So although filing the DMCA takedown notice doesn't necessarily result in a strike on a channel but for the rules on YouTube, it is getting very close to a situation where Jukin Media is saying, pay us money or we're going to file a complaint. If Jukin Media is my client, it's not something I would ever recommend them to do. Either claim the video or just file the DMCA takedown notice and hope that the channel learns, but don't get into a situation where you're saying, pay us money or we're going to file the DMCA takedown notice knowing full well that it might result in your channel being shut down. Now, incidentally, under the DMCA, there is a counter notice that can be filed if somebody thinks that the DMCA takedown notice has been filed without any right. But this whole process is done once the video is already taken down. And as far as it goes on YouTube, this whole process is done once the channel has already received a strike. So although there are rights and recourses against an abusive DMCA takedown notice, by that time the damage is already done. And now you see what I mean when I say that in law there is the plaintiff's side, there's the defendant's side, and generally speaking the truth is somewhere in the middle. MXR Plays does not have entirely clean hands in all of this. It is arguable that the use that they are making of those videos in fact qualifies as fair use. They had been notified multiple times over several months that Jukin considered what they were doing to be unlawful copyright infringement. They had had multiple videos claimed by Jukin. They even recognized that they were using videos to which Jukin owned the rights.
we're like, okay, that's your clip, so we won't use it.
And yet they continued to do it to the point where Jukin Media said, forget claiming the video, these people are not learning, we are just going straight to copy strike. And there is some merit to Jukin's response on Twitter. If MXR Plays wants to avoid all of this, just pay the fees and license the videos. It's not because a video is on the internet that you can use it for whatever purposes you want. It's not because you find a video on Reddit that you can do whatever you want with that video. Especially if you are using a substantial portion of that video to make money for yourself to the point where nobody even needs to see the original once they viewed your video. But where Jukin starts to get their hands a little dirty is when they start issuing invoices, arbitrary amounts, saying pay up or we're gonna file a DMCA takedown notice. It is a threat to pay money, failing which there will be some sort of statutory complaint, and that is getting very close to crossing a legal line that I would not recommend anybody get that close to. Not even Michael Avenatti. Alright, so that is the 360 overview of the situation. It is never as clear as it seems on its face. The situation is complex, and when you walk the line, as do these reaction video channels, you are walking a line. And when Jukin comes in and starts walking a line, they too start walking a line. You're walking the line. So that's that. MXR Plays look like genuinely good people, and this is not a commentary on them as people. The law is complicated, people operate on certain assumptions that are not necessarily accurate. But even if MXR Plays has done certain things that they probably shouldn't have done, and I suspect that they have, that does not in any way condone what might otherwise be deemed to be unlawful conduct by Jukin. And as far as I'm concerned, there is a problem in the law in that it allows for this type of unlawful conduct. Either claim the video or file for a DMCA takedown notice, but there shouldn't be this middle ground where they could say, pay me thousands of dollars, failing which I will file a DMCA takedown notice. That option creates room for corruption and abuse. And there should also be some sanctions on YouTube as a platform for abusive DMCA takedown requests. Because the reality is, even when they are successfully contested, the damage is already done to the channels. But the MXR Plays Jukin Media situation is not cut and dry, it is not black and white, and I hope you can all now appreciate the nuances that exist in this situation. And if you do, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a comment in the comment section below. MXR Plays, if you want to talk, give me a call, shoot me an email, you know how to reach me. And now you know your vlog. Peace out. Booyah!
They have a huge team of like a lot of people from India and from China, right? They have a huge team of like Chinese workers that will basically go through our entire video library, most likely find 3 instances of some, you know, random clip, and then they'll basically remove our channel.
Yeah, okay, so sorry, just to end on this note, that's not how it works. The one benefit of these video licensing agencies is that they have software that automatically scans the internet for reproductions of videos that they own the copyright of. They're like little spiders that are continually crawling the internet, and when they see any images that match any images of videos that they own the copyright to, they claim those videos. I may be wrong, but I don't think they're doing this work with groups of workers from China or India, and I don't know exactly what's being implied by this, but typically speaking, it is done by software. And that is another one of the benefits to using video licensing agencies, is that they have this software that automatically crawls the internet and automatically picks up videos that belong to you that other people have posted. It's one of the beautiful things of technology. All right, on that note, this video's over.